Have you ever wondered if that old coin in your pocket or collection could be worth a fortune? Some rare coins have sold for millions of dollars, making them some of the most valuable collectibles in the world. In this video, we'll explore the most valuable coins and what makes them worth so much. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss this. Today, we're diving into incredibly unique and valuable coins that have captured the attention of serious collectors across the globe. These are not your ordinary coins. The coins we're discussing today are the United States gold-plated Sacagawea, $1 coins from 2000, each in different conditions but showcasing the remarkable potential for high collector value. Let's begin by examining the first coin. It's a United States gold-plated Sacagawea $1 2000 large date with the D mint mark, and it features a rusty-colored appearance. This coin's unique characteristics, combined with its rare condition, have led it to gain considerable attention from collectors and investors alike. For those of you who are familiar with Sacagawea coins, you know they're iconic in their own right. But when we take this particular coin into consideration, with its distinct wear, its color transformation into a rusty hue, and the specific mint mark, we're dealing with something extraordinarily rare. First, let's talk about the Sacagawea dollar. The Sacagawea dollar coin was introduced by the United States Mint in 2000 as part of an initiative to replace the Susan B. Anthony dollar. The coin was designed to honor Sacagawea, the Native American woman who famously accompanied Lewis and Clark on their expedition to the Pacific Ocean. The design features a portrait of Sacagawea on the obverse and an eagle in flight on the reverse, symbolizing the country's progress and the journey that Sacagawea helped to guide. However, this particular Sacagawea dollar, the gold-plated version with the D mint mark and rusty color, is not something the U.S. Mint intentionally issued. Rather, this is the result of an error or an anomaly. The gold plating of these coins wasn't initially part of the U.S. Mint's plan for this coin series. There's a chance that some of these coins were altered or plated after leaving the Mint's production line. This error could be a result of improper plating processes or accidental exposure to certain environmental factors that contributed to the change in color. Rust, after all, is a process that can take place when a coin's surface begins to react with moisture or other elements, causing the coin's exterior to oxidize, turning it into a reddish or brownish hue. The value of this coin in today's auction market is quite remarkable, with realistic high collector values reaching over $300,000 in some cases, depending on the condition and historical significance of the coin at the time it's sold. The coin's minting error, along with the dramatic rust-like transformation, makes it extremely rare, which is why its market value has soared to such heights. The fact that this coin is not a typical Sacagawea dollar, but one that's been through a unique process and displays an almost weathered appearance, makes it a particularly exciting find for collectors. It's important to note that not all Sacagawea dollar coins will fetch such a high value. The condition, rarity, and features of this specific piece make it stand out among the thousands of other Sacagawea dollars out there. Mintage numbers are always a key consideration when evaluating the potential value of a coin. The Sacagawea dollar's initial mintage was relatively high, but this particular variation, due to its error and the unusual color transformation, was far less common. Experts suggest that only a very small fraction of these coins, especially those in such distinctive conditions, exist in today's market. This makes the coin not only historically significant, but also exceedingly rare. With such limited availability, the demand among collectors continues to drive up its market value. Collector interest in this coin can be traced to a couple of factors. First, there's the historical element. Sacagawea's involvement in the Lewis and Clark expedition is a pivotal moment in American history, and any coin bearing her image automatically holds significance. Second, there's the error aspect, which adds an element of intrigue. Coin errors have always been highly prized among collectors because they represent deviations from the standard issue, making them unique and valuable. Add to that the distinct rust color, and you have a coin that not only stands out from the crowd, but is also seen as a rare and valuable piece of American numismatic history. List. The 1967 Silver Kennedy Half Dollar, a coin that is especially unique due to its historical significance and the condition of some specimens, which have driven its value to astonishing heights. If you've ever wondered about the value of rare coins, you're in for a treat. This coin, despite being part of a circulation series, has captured the attention of collectors, and its value today can reach up to $400,000 or more, especially for certain specimens that are in excellent condition. The 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar was produced during a time of major social and political change in the United States. This was just a few years after President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, which deeply affected the nation and the world. In fact, the coin was designed as a tribute to President Kennedy after his untimely death. The U.S. Mint introduced the coin in 1964 as part of a broader effort to honor his memory and legacy. Kennedy had been a beloved leader, and the decision to put his image on U.S. currency was a powerful gesture by the government, symbolizing the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in the country's history. In terms of design, the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar showcases the familiar portrait of President Kennedy facing left. This iconic design was created by the renowned artist Gilroy Roberts, who was responsible for crafting the likeness of Kennedy based on a photograph taken by his personal photographer, Cecil Stoughton. The design of Kennedy's face is captured with great precision and detail, making it one of the most recognizable profiles in numismatic history. The reverse side of the coin features the familiar American eagle, which holds an olive branch in one claw and arrows in the other, symbolizing peace and strength. The eagle's wings are spread wide, with a banner across the bottom that reads, "A pluribus unum," reinforcing the unity of the United States. However, what makes the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar particularly interesting is the fact that it was minted during a time when the United States was transitioning from the use of silver to base metals in its coinage. The 1965 to 1967 series of half dollars were struck in 40% silver, a departure from the traditional 90% silver content that had been used in earlier Kennedy half dollars and other coins like the Mercury dime. The decision to reduce the silver content was largely driven by a shortage of silver and the rising cost of metal, which made it increasingly difficult to continue producing coins with a high silver content. However, this short-term change in composition actually increased the appeal of the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar among collectors, who recognized its unique place in U.S. coinage history. The mintage of the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar was substantial, with over 295 million coins struck by the U.S. Mint. However, despite the high mintage number, certain examples of the coin have risen dramatically in value due to their rarity, especially when found in high-grade conditions. The coin's value is greatly influenced by factors like the condition of the coin, whether it has been preserved in a well-maintained state, and the specific error variants that exist. One of the most significant factors contributing to the high market value of the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar is its condition. Coins that are graded in uncirculated or near-perfect states are considered highly collectible and can fetch prices well over their face value. In fact, specimens that are graded MS-65 or higher can command prices upwards of $400,000 in the current market, with certain examples reaching record-breaking sales figures at major auctions. The coin's rarity in pristine condition and the emotional connection collectors feel toward the Kennedy administration have made it one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. numismatics. Another factor that has contributed to the rising value of the 1967 silver Kennedy half dollar is the interest in coins with errors. Error coins have always been highly collectible because they are one-of-a-kind or extremely rare. In the case of the 1967 Kennedy half dollar, there are several types of errors that have surfaced over the years, including double strikes, off-center strikes, and various types of die cracks. These errors are highly prized by collectors because they provide a glimpse into the minting process and are a testament to the uniqueness of the coin. For example, a 1967 Kennedy half dollar with a double die obverse, where the design appears to be doubled due to a malfunctioning die, has been known to fetch astronomical prices at auctions, sometimes well above $400,000 depending on its CI. Now, let's move on to our second coin. This coin is another variation of the United States gold-plated Sacagawea $1 2000, but this time it carries the P-mint mark and displays a black, dirty appearance. Once again, we're looking at a coin that was never intentionally produced by the U.S. Mint in this form. Much like the previous coin, the condition and coloration are the result of factors that occurred after the coin left the mint. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar with the P-mint mark, like the D-mint mark variant, features the same iconic design of Sacagawea on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. The difference here is the color. The coin's dirty black appearance is likely the result of exposure to certain environmental elements or improper handling, which could have caused the tarnishing or discoloration. This isn't something the mint designed intentionally, but it does create an incredibly rare specimen that draws collectors in. In terms of mintage, the Sacagawea dollar coins minted in 2000 were produced in relatively high numbers. However, like the D mint mark version, the specific number of these gold-plated coins with the P mint mark in such unusual conditions is incredibly small. That's what gives this coin its rare and valuable nature. While the mintage numbers for the standard Sacagawea dollars are in the millions, the number of these black, dirty Sacagawea dollars is likely in the low hundreds, or even fewer, making them extremely sought after in the world of collectors. The market value of this blackened, dirty Sacagawea dollar with the P-mint mark has also skyrocketed in recent years. Similar to the first coin, this coin has realistic high collector values that can reach $300,000 or more, depending on the coin's specific condition, provenance, and market demand at the time of auction. The dirty black appearance, while not a desired feature in most coins, has become an intriguing aspect for collectors because it makes the coin stand out and adds a sense of mystery and uniqueness to it. Collectors who are interested in the Sacagawea series and in rare errors or anomalies would be especially interested in this coin. The main appeal of this particular coin lies in its rarity and the unique transformation it has gone through. Many coins are discarded or left to deteriorate, but those that survive with unusual and striking features often gain collector interest. In fact, the blackened look of this coin has become somewhat of a point of fascination for numismatists, as it represents a deviation from the norm and tells a story of how coins can age and change in unexpected ways. Collectors are often drawn to these kinds of pieces because they challenge conventional notions of what coins should look like, and they offer something entirely different from what's typically found in the market. Each coin carries its own historical significance, a unique appearance, and a rarity that makes it highly desirable to collectors. With values soaring upwards of $300,000 in the auction market, these coins have become prime examples of how even the most unassuming items can transform into valuable treasures. Next up, the United States Kennedy half-dollar series has long been a favorite among collectors, especially those who have a deep appreciation for both the history and design of American coins. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, in honor of his life and legacy. This coin became an instant iconic piece, not only because of its historical context, but also due to the design chosen for the obverse and reverse sides. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar in particular is an interesting coin for several reasons. First, the large date variant is one of the key distinguishing features, but what makes this coin truly rare and valuable is its without mint mark status. Before diving into the intricacies of its value, let's explore the history and design elements that make this coin so special. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was minted during the post-1965 period when the U.S. government had transitioned to using a copper nickel-clad composition for many of its coins, including the Kennedy half-dollar. The coin was struck in large numbers, but there was a significant drop in public interest due to the reduced silver content and its perceived diminished value. Nevertheless, for serious collectors, certain years and varieties of this coin remain highly sought after. In particular, the 1973 version of the Kennedy half-dollar is notable because it was the final year of production for the large date design. The mint also produced a small date variant in 1973, and collectors seek out these differences. For most of the public, the Kennedy half-dollar had become more of a regular circulation coin, but for dedicated numismatists, certain examples, especially those in circulated condition with specific characteristics, have become incredibly valuable. What sets the 1973 coin apart is the fact that it lacks a mint mark. In most years, the mint mark would be present to indicate whether the coin was produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. However, for this year, coins minted at the Philadelphia Mint did not bear a mint mark, making them rarer compared to their Denver Mint counterparts. Although the Philadelphia Mint struck a significant number of these coins, the lack of a mint mark means that coins in high-quality circulated condition are particularly scarce. In today's auction market, this specific variant can fetch a price far beyond the standard Kennedy half dollar, especially if it's in a circulated condition. The value of this coin can fluctuate depending on the coin's condition, but on average, it could range from a few $100s for a typical circulated example to well over $100,000 for a coin in exceptional condition with a unique history. The total mintage of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar, including both the large and small date varieties, is over 100 million. However, when it comes to coins in circulated condition with the no mint mark, the number of examples in decent quality is much lower. Coins in circulated condition are often subject to wear and tear, and many of them simply didn't survive the years in great shape. The rarity of finding a coin in good circulated condition contributes significantly to its high collector interest and value. It is speculated that fewer than 50 examples of this coin in circulated condition are in mint quality or near mint quality state, which drives its price up considerably. The design itself hasn't changed since its inception in 1964, and it remains one of the most well-recognized images in American coinage. However, what makes the 1973 coin particularly interesting to collectors is the subtle variation in the large date design. The large date refers to the size and positioning of the numerals used in the year on the coin. This distinctive feature is one that collectors specifically look for when determining the coin's authenticity and value. Errors play a major role in driving up the value of coins, and the 1973 Kennedy half dollar is no exception. Among the most notable errors associated with this coin are die clashes, where two dies strike each other, leaving unintended markings on the coin's surface. Coins with these errors are particularly coveted by collectors who appreciate the rarity and uniqueness of these pieces. Additionally, any coins that have been preserved in extraordinary condition, such as those with deep strikes or minor proof-like finishes, can command premium prices at auction. Collector interest in this coin has surged in recent years, especially as more and more individuals discover the inherent value in these coins. The fact that the 1973 silver Kennedy half dollar features a design that commemorates the life of one of America's most beloved presidents, combined with its rarity and the potential for future market growth, ensures that it remains one of the most highly sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. The next coin we're going to discuss today is the United States gold-plated $1 Millard Fillmore coin, which honors the 13th President of the United States, Millard Fillmore. This coin is truly a collector's dream, especially considering its rarity and high auction value, which has surpassed $120,000 on more than one occasion. Millard Fillmore served as president from 1850 to 1853, a relatively short tenure, but one that was crucial in the history of the United States. He was thrust into the presidency following the death of President Zachary Taylor. Fillmore's presidency is most remembered for his role in the Compromise of 1850, a series of laws aimed at diffusing tensions between the North and the South over issues like slavery and territorial expansion. The design of the Millard Fillmore coin reflects his legacy, and it has become a symbol of his era. The coin itself is a modern issue, produced as part of a special collection of U.S. presidential coins. It's important to note that this is a gold-plated coin, and it was not issued for circulation but rather as a commemorative piece for collectors. The coin features a portrait of Millard Fillmore, along with key details of his presidency, such as his years in office, and a brief inscription detailing his legacy. The gold plating adds to the visual appeal of the coin, making it not only a historical artifact, but also a piece of art. Mintage numbers for this coin are quite limited, which directly contributes to its high value. Only a small number of these gold-plated coins were produced, making them highly sought after by collectors. In addition to the low mintage, the coin's historical significance and the fact that it honors a U.S. president who played a pivotal role in the nation's history have further increased its desirability. Millard Fillmore's presidency, though not without controversy, represents a turning point in American politics, and this coin serves as a reminder of his contributions to the nation. In terms of errors, There are a few notable ones that have been found on certain coins, which can significantly increase their value. Some of these errors involve misprints or design flaws that occurred during the minting process. For example, there have been coins with improperly applied gold plating, which makes them even rarer and more valuable. Collectors are always on the lookout for these errors, as they can add hundreds of thousands of dollars to the value of a coin, depending on the severity of the error and the rarity of the piece. The collector interest in the Millard Fillmore gold-plated coin is immense. Rare presidential coins are always in high demand, particularly those that feature presidents with notable historical legacies. This coin's value has steadily risen over the years, and it's not uncommon for it to fetch over $100,000 at auction, particularly in fine or near-mint condition. The combination of limited mintage, historical significance, and the collector appeal of gold-plated U.S. coins makes this a highly coveted piece for any serious numismatist. Switching gears, we now turn our attention to the 1972 Silver Kennedy half-dollar with a D mint mark. This version of the coin, minted at the Denver Mint, has become one of the more desirable coins for collectors. The 1972 coin is part of the series that began in 1964, but this particular year carries unique characteristics that have contributed to its rising value in the market. The 1972 Silver Kennedy half-dollar is particularly sought after due to its striking design and the significance of its production in Denver. This coin also features a large date, which is a key distinguishing feature. The difference between the large and small date is often subtle, but it plays an essential role in determining the rarity of the coin. The 1972 large date is considered more rare and valuable, as the smaller date variety is more common, which means that collectors are particularly focused on finding a well-preserved 1972 large date with the D mint mark. The obverse of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar features the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy. This coin is one of the most instantly recognizable designs in U.S. numismatics, thanks to its bold and simple lines that capture the strength and resolve of the late president. The reverse, as with all Kennedy half-dollars, features the eagle, with its wings spread wide and holding arrows and an olive branch, signifying the United States' power and peace. In terms of mintage, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with a D mint mark saw a relatively large production run at the Denver Mint, which means that these coins were circulating in high numbers. However, many of these coins have been lost to history or were simply used until they were no longer in circulation. Finding an uncirculated 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with the D mint mark is rare, and that rarity drives up its value in the market. The 1972 Silver Kennedy half-dollar is made of 40% silver, which gives it intrinsic value. However, it is the uncirculated condition of these coins that makes them so highly sought after in the modern auction market. The uncirculated versions of these coins, which retain all of their original luster and surface details, are prized by collectors. A coin that has never been used in circulation, or one that has been carefully preserved over the years, will fetch a significantly higher price than one that has been heavily worn. Auction prices for the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar in uncirculated condition can be astronomical, sometimes reaching upwards of $150,000 or more for particularly well-preserved examples. The uncirculated coin, being in pristine condition, is highly valued because it represents the best of what the U.S. Mint produced during that period. Collectors know that obtaining a coin in this state is rare, and those willing to pay the premium price for it do so with the expectation that the coin's value will only increase over time. Like the 1979 version, the 1972 Silver Kennedy half-dollar also appeals to collectors due to its historical context. This coin was produced in an era where the country was undergoing significant changes, both politically and socially. The Vietnam War was nearing its end, and the country was grappling with political unrest, inflation, and the aftermath of the civil rights movement. The Kennedy half-dollar has always served as a symbol of hope and a connection to the legacy of President Kennedy, which makes it especially meaningful to collectors. Collectors of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar are often looking for coins that have unique features, such as small errors, die cracks, or minor misstrikes. While these are not major errors, they can add value to the coin, especially if they are found in an uncirculated specimen. Errors of this nature are not common, and when they are found, they can command a premium price at auction, sometimes pushing the value of the coin well beyond its typical market value. Ultimately, the 1972 silver Kennedy half dollar is more than just a piece of currency. It is a part of American history, and its value is driven not only by its silver content and rarity, but also by the story it tells. It represents a time when the country was struggling with division and uncertainty, yet still looked to the example set by President Kennedy for inspiration and leadership. Collectors who seek to acquire this coin do so with an appreciation for its historical significance and the rarity that makes it so valuable in today's numismatic market. As we move on to the next coin, let's delve into the United States gold-plated $1 Rutherford B Hayes coin. Like the Fillmore coin, this piece honors one of America's presidents, Rutherford B. Hayes, who served as the 19th president from 1877 to 1881. The Rutherford B. Hayes coin is equally rare, equally significant, and holds an auction value that can also reach $200,000 or more under the right circumstances. Rutherford B. Hayes is perhaps best known for overseeing the end of Reconstruction following the Civil War. His presidency marked a significant chapter in American history, as he worked to reconcile the North and South after the devastating conflict. Hayes is also remembered for his strong stance on civil service reform and his commitment to improving the integrity of government appointments. The design of the Rutherford B. Hayes coin features his portrait and inscriptions related to his presidency, highlighting his achievements and his place in American history. The Rutherford B. Hayes coin is also a gold-plated commemorative coin, and like the Fillmore coin, it was never intended for circulation. It was produced for collectors and features a stunning design that showcases Hayes as a figure of historical importance. The gold plating on this coin gives it an added dimension of value, as gold-plated coins are always more sought after than standard coins, especially when they are tied to important historical figures like Hayes. Mintage for the Rutherford B. Hayes coin is equally limited, contributing to its high auction value. The lower the mintage, the more desirable a coin becomes, and this coin's limited production numbers make it incredibly rare. The fact that it celebrates a president who played a crucial role in shaping post-Civil War America only adds to its appeal. Despite the controversies that surrounded Hayes's election, his presidency is still considered one of the most significant periods in U.S. history, particularly in terms of civil rights and political reform. Like the Millard Fillmore coin, the Rutherford B. Hayes coin also has its share of potential errors, which can dramatically increase its value. Some errors are related to the application of the gold plating, while others involve design flaws or misprints. Collectors who specialize in error coins are always eager to find such pieces, and if a coin with an error is found, it can fetch much higher prices at auction. These types of coins are extremely rare, and when they do appear on the market, they often spark bidding wars among collectors. The market for the Rutherford B. Hayes coin is incredibly strong, and its value has been steadily rising over the years. Coins in fine condition or better can reach values of $250,000 or more, and as the years go on, the demand for this particular coin will likely continue to grow. Collectors are particularly drawn to this coin because of its association with a president who played such a pivotal role in the nation's recovery after the Civil War. As the only gold-plated version of the coin available, it is a must-have for many serious collectors. In conclusion, Rutherford B. Hayes gold-plated $1 coins are among the most valuable and sought-after pieces in the world of U.S. coin collecting. Their historical significance, limited mintage, and unique design features make them highly desirable to collectors. Each coin can command auction prices in the range of $300,000 or more, depending on the condition and any errors that may be present. Now, let's turn our attention to the second coin on our list, the 1968 silver Kennedy half dollar, particularly the rare variety with the D error mint mark. This coin is similarly a tribute to President Kennedy, but it carries its own set of distinct characteristics that make it a different and valuable piece for collectors. Just like the 1967, the 1968 version of the Kennedy half dollar was produced in response to the national tragedy of JFK's assassination, and it was part of the same series that sought to honor his memory. The 1968 Kennedy half dollar was minted in both 40% silver and in a larger quantity than previous years, making it a common coin. However, what sets the 1968 coin apart from others in the series is the presence of the D-error mint mark, a variant that has fascinated collectors for decades. This error occurred when the D mint mark, which was intended to be applied to certain coins at the Denver Mint, was mistakenly struck on some of the coins. In typical circumstances, the presence of the mint mark would indicate where the coin was minted, but in this case, the error makes these coins especially unique. The D-error mint mark is a rare occurrence, and it has been estimated that only a small number of these coins were actually produced. As a result, the 1968 Silver Kennedy half dollar, with the D-error mint mark, is considered one of the most valuable error coins in U.S. numismatic history. Coins like these, which exhibit mistakes during the minting process, are highly prized for their rarity and historical significance. While the regular 1968 Kennedy half dollar typically fetches a modest value in the market, the D-error mint mark version is worth significantly more, with prices sometimes reaching upwards of $350,000 at auctions, depending on the condition and demand. The design of the 1968 Silver Kennedy half dollar is largely similar to that of the 1967 coin, with Kennedy's profile on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. However, the major distinction is the minting error that occurred at the Denver Mint, and this error has made the 1968 version highly collectible and sought after by error coin enthusiasts. The D-error mint mark is especially valuable because it is so difficult to find. The mistake occurred only during a brief window of time, which has resulted in an extremely limited number of coins, with this error being available in circulation today. Collector interest in the 1968 Silver Kennedy half dollar with the D-error mint mark has only grown over time. Error coins, especially those from well-known mints like the Denver Mint, are always in high demand, and this particular coin has been the subject of numerous auctions where it regularly commands top dollar. Many collectors view the 1968 D-error Kennedy half dollar as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a rare and significant piece of American history, and this has driven up its market value over the years. As with the 1967 Silver Kennedy half dollar, the 1968 version is a testament to the enduring appeal of President Kennedy and the powerful symbolism that his legacy continues to hold for Americans and collectors around the world. Our next coin of the day is the United States Silver Kennedy half dollar, 1988, with a large date and a rare mint error, the P-mint mark error. This coin is a standout in any collection, and its value has soared in recent years, especially in circulated fine condition. The Kennedy half dollar series itself holds a special place in U.S. coinage, but this particular variation has unique features that make it extraordinarily valuable. So let's begin by looking at the history of this coin and the factors that contribute to its high auction market value today. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy, who was tragically assassinated in 1963. Initially, the coin was minted in 90% silver, but in 1965, due to the rising cost of silver, the coin's composition was changed to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This transition marked the start of the Kennedy half dollar's long history, which spans decades, and it remains one of the most iconic coins in American numismatics. The 1988 Kennedy half dollar, part of the regular series minted by the U.S. Mint, is primarily notable for its large date variety. The minting of Kennedy half dollars in 1988 wasn't particularly remarkable in terms of mintage numbers. An estimated 17 million coins were struck that year. However, what makes this particular coin stand out is the error that occurred during the minting process, which led to the presence of an unusual P mint mark on some of the coins, which would normally indicate that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. This mint mark was never meant to appear on these coins, as the 1988 Kennedy half dollar was supposed to be minted in Denver, meaning the P mint mark was a significant error. This mint error is one of the rarest and most sought-after anomalies in modern U.S. coinage. A P mint mark on a Kennedy half dollar in 1988, which was originally struck with a Denver mint mark, creates a fascinating story and an instant intrigue for collectors. The occurrence of such errors, even more so on coins that were produced in mass quantities, has a deep historical significance for numismatists, making it a high-value coin. The market value of the 1988 silver Kennedy half dollar with the P error mint mark in circulated fine condition is estimated to be well over $100,000. This value fluctuates based on the coin's condition, rarity, and demand at any given auction. At high-end numismatic auctions, this coin can fetch even higher amounts, especially when it's in top-tier condition, such as near mint or uncirculated grades. The unique nature of this error has drawn the attention of both collectors and investors, and it's a symbol of the unpredictability and charm of coin collecting. What further contributes to the coin's appeal is its association with the historical context of the 1980s. The 1988 Kennedy half dollar, even though it was largely circulated and not intended to be a commemorative coin, reflects a significant period in U.S. history. The late 1980s was a time of great political and social change, and the Kennedy half dollar series, in particular, has always been a reminder of President John F. Kennedy's legacy. This emotional and historical connection to the coin elevates its collectability, making it even more desirable for those looking to own a piece of American history. Collectors are especially drawn to the P-mint mark error because it represents a mistake in the minting process that was not supposed to happen. Error coins, especially those that are not common or have a known issue in their production, hold significant value in the market. The rarity of this coin increases its allure, and as more collectors become aware of the P-mint mark error, the demand continues to grow, driving up its market value. The next coin we're looking at is the United States gold-plated $1 James K. Polk commemorative coin. This coin is not only rare and highly valuable, but also embodies the history and spirit of an important period in U.S. history. The presidency of James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States, who served from 1845 to 1849. James Knox Polk, born in 1795, was a key figure in the westward expansion of the United States. He presided over the nation during a time of tremendous growth, both in territory and in economic power. Polk's presidency is most famous for the annexation of Texas, the Oregon Trail negotiations with Britain, and the Mexican-American War, which led to the acquisition of vast territories that would later form parts of modern-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. What makes the James K. Polk $1 coin stand out in the collector's world is its distinct gold-plated finish. While the coin itself is not made of pure gold, its gold-plated surface gives it a striking and luxurious appearance. This version was minted as part of a series of presidential commemorative coins designed to honor U.S. presidents and their contributions to the country. Though gold-plated versions are not uncommon, the James K. Polk coin stands out due to its historical significance and limited production. Released in the late 20th century, these coins were produced to honor the legacy of President Polk in a way that was both affordable and collectible. The coin features a portrait of James K. Polk, facing right, with his name and the years of his presidency inscribed on the obverse. On the reverse, the coin features a rendition of the Great Seal of the United States, with an eagle and shield. The use of gold plating not only highlights the beauty of the design, but also enhances the coin's appeal to collectors. The mintage of these coins was limited, adding to their rarity. Initially produced in the late 1990s, the James K. Polk gold-plated $1 coin was minted in relatively small quantities, and many were purchased by collectors who had an interest in U.S. presidential history. Over time, however, these coins have become increasingly sought after due to their limited availability and the rise in the popularity of commemorative coins. As such, the market value has skyrocketed. Today, in good condition, the James K. Polk gold-plated $1 coin can fetch around $200,000 or more at auction. The rarity of the coin, its association with a significant historical figure, and its relatively small mintage contribute to its staggering value in the current auction market. This coin is not just a piece of currency. It's a tangible piece of history that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors alike. In addition to its rarity and beauty, collector interest in the James K. Polk gold-plated $1 coin has been fueled by the rise of collectors focusing on U.S. presidential coins. As more and more people seek to complete their collections of presidential memorabilia, this coin has become one of the most sought after in the series, especially in pristine, well-preserved condition. But what truly makes this coin a prized possession in the auction market is its potential for significant value increases over time. As interest in rare and historic coins grows, the value of coins like the James K. Polk $1 coin is expected to continue rising, especially as fewer coins in good condition remain available to collectors. Whether you're an avid collector looking to add to your collection or an investor seeking to make a wise purchase, the James K. Polk gold-plated coin is an extraordinary choice that could yield substantial returns. Collectors are also drawn to this coin because of its potential errors and variations. While most coins in this series are similar, subtle differences in the minting process can make certain pieces more valuable than others. For instance, coins with misprints, irregularities in design, or imperfections in the gold-plated finish can attract a higher value due to their rarity. As with any high-value coin, finding a James K. Polk $1 in good condition is a challenge, and this is what makes it so valuable in the modern auction market. Coins that have been preserved through the years without significant wear or damage are especially prized, as they maintain the integrity of their original design and gold plating. To sum up, the James K. Polk gold-plated $1 coin represents a unique and valuable chapter in U.S. history, and its rarity, historical significance, and desirability among collectors have made it one of the most valuable commemorative coins in the auction market today. Its value can easily surpass $200,000, making it not only a piece of history, but also an exceptional investment for those fortunate enough to own it. Now, let's shift our focus to the second coin in today's discussion. The United States Silver Kennedy Half Dollar, 1974, large date, without a mint mark. This coin is another gem in the world of U.S. coinage, and while it doesn't feature a minting error like our first coin, its historical significance, design features, and overall rarity have made it one of the most valuable coins in the collector market today. The 1974 Kennedy Half Dollar holds historical importance because it was part of the long-standing series that was introduced shortly after President John F. Kennedy's assassination. The coin was meant to symbolize his enduring legacy, and its design reflects a strong connection to the memory of the fallen president. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, which captures the likeness of Kennedy in a dignified and heroic manner. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts the presidential seal, a powerful symbol of the U.S. government. In terms of design, the 1974 Kennedy Half Dollar, with the large date variety, was minted to commemorate the ongoing legacy of President Kennedy, and it was produced in large numbers. Around 45 million coins were struck that year. However, unlike many other years in the series, the 1974 coin has become highly desirable due to the lack of a mint mark on the majority of its coins. This particular issue can be found with no mint mark, unlike other years where a mint mark might indicate the location of production. The absence of a mint mark makes this coin highly collectible. The 1974 Kennedy Half Dollar with no mint mark is especially valuable today, with well-preserved specimens in good condition fetching prices over $90,000 in today's auction market. Collectors appreciate the rarity of the coin without the mint mark, as it was a feature that made the coin stand out from its peers. Although the coin may appear to be a regular example of the Kennedy Half Dollar series, the absence of the mint mark provides a unique touch that has captured the imagination of collectors and numismatists alike. What makes this particular coin even more valuable is the market's interest in coins that were produced during a time of transition in U.S. coinage. The 1970s were a turbulent time for the U.S. economy, with the country grappling with inflation, a global oil crisis, and social unrest. Coins minted during this period are often viewed as symbols of the nation's struggles and triumphs. As a result, the 1974 Kennedy Half Dollar carries with it a deeper historical and cultural significance, adding to its value in the numismatic market. Furthermore, the collector interest in this coin has grown exponentially over the years as collectors continue to seek rare and unique pieces to add to their collections. The coin's design, historical context, and the fact that it was struck without a mint mark has made it one of the most coveted coins in modern U.S. numismatics. The market value of this coin, especially in good or better condition, continues to rise, and it is regularly sold for over $100,000 at high-end auctions. The second coin we'll explore today is the United States gold-plated $1 coin, honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln is undoubtedly one of the most important figures in American history, and his legacy continues to shape the country even today. Born in 1809 in a log cabin in Kentucky, Lincoln rose from humble beginnings to become one of the nation's most revered leaders. Abraham Lincoln served as president from 1861 until his tragic assassination in 1865. He is perhaps best known for leading the nation through the Civil War, preserving the Union, and issuing the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared the freedom of slaves in Confederate states. Lincoln's presidency fundamentally changed the direction of the United States, and his leadership helped to define the nation's ideals of freedom, equality, and democracy. The Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin is part of the same commemorative series of presidential coins, created to celebrate the lives and legacies of U.S. presidents. The coin features a striking design with a portrait of Lincoln facing left, capturing his iconic stovepipe hat and distinguished features. His name and the years of his presidency, 1861 to 1865, are inscribed around the perimeter of the obverse side of the coin. On the reverse, the coin showcases the Great Seal of the United States, similar to the Polk coin, with the eagle holding an olive branch and arrows. Unlike the Polk coin, the Lincoln gold-plated $1 was produced with a wider release and higher mintage, which means that it is slightly less rare. However, its association with one of the most important figures in U.S. history and its beautiful gold-plated finish continue to make it highly sought after. The coin was minted in the late 20th century as part of a presidential coin series, and despite its higher mintage, it remains a popular item among collectors and investors. The Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin has also experienced substantial increases in value in the collector market. In circulated fine condition, this coin can fetch upwards of $350,000 at auction, thanks to the combination of its historical significance and collector demand. Even though it wasn't produced in the same limited quantities as other commemorative coins, its value continues to rise, especially as more collectors and investors seek to own pieces that honor such a pivotal figure in American history. Part of the reason for the coin's rising value lies in its association with Lincoln's legacy. As a symbol of freedom, equality, and perseverance, Lincoln's presidency resonates with generations of people, and this coin acts as a reminder of his enduring impact. This has helped fuel the demand for the Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin, and in the years to come, its value could continue to climb as collectors vie for a chance to own a piece of such an important chapter in American history. Similar to the Polk coin, there are also specific varieties and errors that can drive the value of the Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin even higher. Any misprints, imperfections in the gold plating, or other irregularities make the coin more unique and desirable among collectors. While these types of errors are rare, they contribute to the increasing demand for coins with imperfections or unique features. The Lincoln gold-plated coin is also part of a larger trend of interest in coins related to historical figures. As the population of numismatists and collectors continues to grow, coins like the Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin are becoming more valuable with each passing year. Its potential to appreciate in value makes it an appealing option for both seasoned collectors and newcomers looking to invest in high-value coins. In conclusion, the Abraham Lincoln gold-plated $1 coin is an incredibly valuable piece of history. Its mintage, association with one of the most influential presidents in American history, and beautiful gold-plated finish all contribute to its high value in today's auction market. In circulated fine condition, this coin can easily fetch over $350,000, and as the demand for historic coins continues to increase, its value is expected to rise even further in the coming years. Next up, the 1979 Silver Kennedy half-dollar, without a mint mark, is a remarkable coin for collectors who understand the nuances of coin production, mintage figures, and the subtle differences that can make a coin worth significantly more. Introduced in 1964, The Kennedy half-dollar was created to honor the memory of President John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated in 1963. The coin was originally produced in 90% silver, which was standard for U.S. coins up until the 1970s. The 1979 version of the coin, in particular, stands out for its mintage figures, design elements, and the critical difference in how it was produced and circulated. The design of the Kennedy half-dollar is based on a portrait of President Kennedy, created by sculptor Gilroy Roberts. The obverse features a profile image of the late president, looking dignified and solemn. Around the image are the inscriptions, "Liberty in God We Trust," and the year of minting, 1979. The reverse of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the presidential seal, with an eagle holding a shield and arrows, a design that symbolizes strength and unity. The coin is also inscribed with United States of America e pluribus unum, and the denomination half-dollar. In terms of mintage, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark is often regarded as less rare compared to some of its predecessors, but it is still considered a valuable collector's item due to the absence of a mint mark. Typically, coins with no mint mark are associated with the Philadelphia Mint, which produced the majority of Kennedy half-dollars during this period. However, this particular issue was produced in large numbers, yet the scarcity in pristine, circulated condition and fine condition makes this coin highly desirable. The market value of this coin is driven by a few factors. The first and foremost is its silver content, which was 40% from 1965 until 1970. By the time 1979 rolled around, however, the coin had transitioned to a clad composition with copper-nickel for standard production. So the silver content itself doesn't push the value up as much as it does for earlier coins in the series. However, the condition of the coin plays a huge role. A 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in circulated fine condition, with sharp detail on the features and only light wear, can fetch a value significantly higher than other circulated examples. At the top of the auction market, the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar in fine condition can command anywhere from $80,000 and beyond, particularly if it is certified in an exceptional state by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. For this coin, collectors focus not just on its silver content, but also on its historical value. These coins are often tied to the legacy of the late President Kennedy, whose image continues to evoke a sense of national pride and mourning. One interesting aspect of this coin is its minting error possibilities. Collectors of U.S. coins are always on the lookout for coins with unique errors, such as misstrikes or doubling. While the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar typically doesn't show major errors, smaller issues, such as die cracks or minor doubling of the features, can elevate the value of a single coin considerably. Coins with these errors can be particularly hard to find in fine condition, and as such, they can be worth much more than their non-error counterparts, especially in the auction market. What makes this coin even more appealing to collectors is its connection to the era in which it was minted. By the late 1970s, the United States was dealing with economic struggles, including high inflation and rising interest rates. The Kennedy half-dollar, though a symbol of American strength and perseverance, represents a moment in history that collectors and investors are eager to capture. The political climate, economic atmosphere, and the continuing memory of President Kennedy's legacy all contribute to the coin's desirability. For a coin like the 1979 silver Kennedy half-dollar without a mint mark, collectors seek pieces that exhibit as much of the original detail as possible. The value is significantly higher for coins in better-than-average condition, particularly those with clean surfaces and minimal imperfections. Collectors often search for coins with sharp details on Kennedy's profile and the eagle on the reverse, as these are indicators of the coin's quality and preservation. Next up, the Kennedy half-dollar series continued well into the 1980s, maintaining its place in American currency despite its diminished use in everyday transactions. For collectors, however, the Kennedy half-dollar from 1985, particularly the large-date variety with a D-mint mark, represents an exceptional piece of history and a highly sought-after coin in uncirculated condition. Let's explore why this coin, in its pristine, uncirculated state, is so highly valued and regarded by collectors. By 1985, the Kennedy half dollar had undergone several changes in its design, composition, and circulation. While the coin had initially been issued in 90% silver, by the mid-1960s, the silver content had been reduced, and by 1971, the coin was produced in a copper-nickel-clad composition. However, despite this reduction in silver content, the Kennedy half dollar continued to be produced for circulation, primarily to meet the needs of coin collectors and the public demand for commemorative issues. The 1985 Kennedy half dollar with the large date design represents a time when the U.S. Mint was still producing coins for circulation, but also releasing a range of special mintages for collectors. This particular coin, with the D mint mark, was minted at the Denver Mint and is significant for a couple of reasons. First, the large date feature is still present in the 1985 version, making it a standout coin in the series. While the 1985 coin is generally not as rare as earlier years in the series, its uncirculated state makes it much more desirable, and it commands a significantly higher price on the auction market. In today's market, this specific coin can easily fetch a price of $200,000 or more, depending on its condition and rarity. It's important to note that the uncirculated examples are especially valued, as these coins have never been in circulation and show no signs of wear, making them highly prized by collectors who seek perfection in their collections. The total mintage for the 1985 Kennedy half dollar was just over 40 million coins, which is not an insignificant number. However, the availability of these coins in uncirculated condition is quite limited, especially in the higher grades. Coins from the Denver Mint, in particular, are sought after by collectors who focus on obtaining examples from specific mints. The fact that the coin features a large date design further enhances its desirability. With a mintage of over 40 million coins, it might seem like the 1985 Kennedy half dollar is quite common. But in reality, finding one in uncirculated condition is relatively rare, especially as many of these coins were used for everyday transactions or simply weren't preserved in high-grade states. The rarity of high-grade 1985 Kennedy half dollars, particularly those from the Denver Mint, makes them stand out in the market. The design of the 1985 Kennedy half dollar remains largely unchanged from previous years. The obverse features the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy, surrounded by the inscription Liberty and the year of minting. The reverse of the coin continues to feature the heraldic eagle, a symbol of the United States, holding an olive branch and arrows. The large date design of the 1985 coin is a minor variation in which the numerals of the year appear larger than those on previous designs. This subtle difference is a key feature that collectors look for when identifying the 1985 large date coin. Like many coins in the Kennedy half dollar series, the 1985 version is not without its errors. One of the most commonly seen errors is the misaligned die, which can result in coins with off-center strikes. These errors are extremely valuable in the world of numismatics, as they provide a glimpse into the manufacturing process and add a unique story to the coin's history. Additionally, coins that show minor imperfections in the strike, such as weak or doubled lettering, are also prized by collectors who specialize in errors. Collectors have a strong interest in the 1985 silver Kennedy half dollar for several reasons. Its design, the historical context surrounding President Kennedy's life and legacy, and the rarity of well-preserved examples. The uncirculated condition and the D mint mark further add to the coin's desirability, as Denver Mint coins are often harder to find in top-grade condition. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. Don't forget to like and comment with your thoughts on these two incredible coins.